Okay, so we're in MailerLite now, and the first thing I've done is actually gone to the group section here, because what we want to do is we want to set up a segmented group for newsletter signups. So the first thing I'm going to go here is I'm going to create the group, and I'm just going to go with newsletter. Oops. So newsletter signups, we create the group, and the group is now created and we've got no subscribers. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is we need to actually set up a form. So we go to forms and we want to select embedded forms. Okay, so we've got it here and we're going to create our first embedded form. So we're going to call it the same, so it's newsletters. Newsletter signups, and actually I should change that to newsletter instead of 2 words, but we'll fix that up shortly. So we've got newsletter signups here. Go save and continue. So we've got the sign up here and it's got subscribed, and this is pretty well okay. Now we can change a lot of this stuff in here if we want to. Sign up for news and special offers and just ask for the email. You can include more fields in here, but for this exercise we're going to keep it pretty straightforward. You can change the background over here by changing the color, so if we wanted to make it, you know, blue or something like that. So you can change the whole background, which may or may not be appropriate, but at the moment we're just going to put it back to plain. Okay, so we'll just accept that. You've also got lots of settings in here, so you can go in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, what happens after success? So I'm going to send them to a custom page after they sign up, and it's going to be newsletter 1. Okay, so it's they get the first newsletter. That's the concept behind here. You can also send them to a privacy policy or whatever, but for now we're just going to send them to a thank you page, which will include a newsletter in PDF form or whatever. So we go next. MailerLite, because it's online, it does a bit of crunching, so it can be a little bit slow at sometimes depending on how many people are using it, but we'll just wait. And here we've got the form. Now the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the double opt-in off, because what this does, it means that it sends, and it's up to you whether you want to turn this on or off, but to get the mailing list up and running, I'd suggest you turn it off initially, and once you start getting a decent list and you want to, you know, be more obvious about who you're letting in, then you can always turn double opt-in back on. But for this exercise I'm going to turn it off, because if we don't turn it off, it means that they have to go to their email, accept their email, and then come back in. So let's turn that off for now. So I'm going to do that, and that's pretty well it. Okay, so, and this is the page. Now I'm not, this is if you want to click a button that takes them straight to the form. Problem with this solution is that it will take them off your site and direct to MailerLite's site where the form exists. But the best option you find is the HTML code option here. So if we select the HTML code, we just grab that form. So we grab all the code that's there, copy it to the clipboard. Now we're going to go back to our website. So we go to the newsletter subscription page. We've got the MailerLite here, so I'm going to edit that, and we're going to edit it in HTML. This is very important. Okay, so we edit in HTML. We take that placeholder out and replace it with the code and update, and we can view the page. Okay, so now we've got the form on the page, and if I put in my email address, we would actually do that. Now I'm not going to do that for now, because what I want to do is we want to set up what happens with the sequence. Okay, so now we're going back into MailerLite. And we're going to go to automations. Now there's already an email in here, but I'm going to recreate this. So we're going to create the workflow. So we create a workflow. I'm going to start the workflow, start the trigger. We give it a new name. Newsletter signups. We select what triggers this workflow, and what we're looking for is when a subscriber completes the form, this second option down here. So we select that, and it needs to know which form. So we've got newsletter sign up embedded, that's the one we want. So when they do that, so we'll save that. And now you see that this is now active. So what we want to do now is we want to send them a newsletter because they've signed up. So, or we can send them an email. So the first thing we're going to do is send them an email and welcome them. So we click on the email here and define the email content. So you can set the subject, who it's from. The subject here is welcome, or whatever you want to insert in here, who it's from, and we design the email. And we've got a welcome email already set up here, so we can set that up, or we can create a new one. So we'll just create a new one. You can pick a HTML editor, or just a rich text, or a drag and drop editor, whichever you wish. The rich text editor, which is probably the easiest to get started with. Keep it very, clean and easy. We can look at the drag and drop editor later, so you can format your newsletters into, nice looking. See, now I've got the contents in a text file, so I'm just going to grab that. So first thing I'm going to do is welcome to the email. So we'll just go right. We can start putting more information there. So we'll just grab another little bit of info. So we just cut and paste the rest. And so it's got some information in here. And that's our first newsletter basically set up. So we'll just go done editing. Now you can obviously change these formatting and by using the editor in here, bolding them and putting links in and whatever else. So at the moment we've just got that set up in here with a little bit of information. So that's our welcome message. Okay, so we'll just save that. Okay, so that's our welcome message going up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of a delay in. So we'll set the delay by clicking on it here, and it's asking us for days. We don't want days, we want maybe minutes. So let's give it 30 minutes from when they sign up, or even 15. Just a slight delay. If you don't want a delay, well then don't put one in. Then the next thing we're going to do is send them the newsletter. So again, it's going to be an email. We go over here and your newsletter. Your newsletter, again, it's who's from, and then we design the email. We're going to create a new one. We'll use the rich text editor again. And this time we're going to start writing again. So we've got some more information in here. And we can maybe bold this one out to make it stand out a little bit. So we'll bold that. And just going to copy the information that I've got saved to the clipboard. We'll just clean this up. We'll delete that line. We don't want it. So just get rid of that. So this is the newsletter. Now you can add pictures in here. We're not going to cover that in this exercise, but you can add pictures in here. You can set that up. So now when somebody signs up in a short space of time, they're going to get this newsletter. You can send yourself a preview. So we go in and look at preview, send a test email. I can send a test email to myself or to anyone else. If you were doing it for a client, you could send them a test email. Make sure you're comfortable with it before you actually publish it. And we're done editing. And we turn the newsletter setup on, so we're ready to go. So we need to then go back and have a look at our set up our thank you page, so we make sure that's all okay. So we're just going to create a new page, add a title. So we take that HTTP out, so that's what we've got. So we're just going to add a title, and then we'll put up the newsletter which we've already got. So I'm just going to go back and copy that again. Paste it in here, so we've got our details in here. So we need to change the layout of this page so that it actually looks good. So just to go through and do the pagination, I won't do that because it'll take up too much of the video, but you get the idea. So you go in, make it look good, and then update. We'll view the page, make sure it's okay. So that's looking okay, but we obviously need to clean up the pagination in here. So and you can add photos and pictures or images or links or whatever else you may want to do in here. So now let's get back to our home page. So if somebody comes, they visit, they want to get your newsletter, we'll put in my email address, hit subscribe. Okay, so once we entered it in, we get straight to the newsletter page here, and at the same time the person will actually get the email that's going to give them access to the newsletter, and if for whatever reason they don't want it this way. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good insight. So we go back and we have a look at the page again. So that's really just a sign up page. There's lots of automations you can do. You can save templates, and we'll probably discuss that in another video, where you can save templates and then use them to make your newsletters look more engaging and pretty, and HTML and all that kind of stuff. So we'll cover that off in another video soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.